this land, this country, this part of the world, they were in darkness. They were savages. They were barbarians living in caves. Didn't even know how to take a bath when the Quran was revealed. Soap, paper, and cloth invented by the Muslims. Soap. Can you imagine what the Western world was smelling like without soap? The Western world didn't even have soap. You could, if you go without taking a bath for about a week or two, imagine what somebody would smell like if they ain't never took a bath. There was a time when the people of Europe, they had respect for religion, but today, the people of Europe, they're running away from religion. So now, did you know there are 3 countries in Europe, in the European Union, they have made it legal now to have sex with robots. Now, if you think I'm telling you something that's like the Sheikh is going off, you know, like, hey, what the Sheikh? Where do you go? You go to your Google Gaggle Giggle. Go to it. And any of you people that's out here in the media, get this straight. Go to the media and put in robots for sex and see it. It's already here. It's in your backyard. They've already tested it. And now it's going to America. Massachusetts will be the first state this year to introduce sex with robots. So what kind of world are we living in today? Well, I can say to you unequivocally that Islam, the Quran, and the tradition and behavior of the Prophet Muhammad can address all of those evils for free. You don't have to pay for it. Just you got to read and open up your minds and open up your hearts, and you're going to see this is going to be a new Europe. And it's on their way. You can't stop it. Last year, or rather this year, already 86,000 people have become Muslims in America. Already 34,000 people have become Muslims in Europe. And since 9/11, and the past 10 years, over 500,000 people have become Muslims. Allahu Akbar. So you see, guys, you guys out here from them covert services, Islam is like a tsunami. See if you can stop it. Now, if you're talking about the issue of Banu Qurayza, you know, when he took hostages, these was people who was plotting and planning and jumping between and cutting between and breaking the treaties and acting treacherously and doing all kinds of things, smiling in his face, stabbing him in his back, giving pieces of information, making loyalty with him and breaking it and giving loyalty to somebody else. Okay, they were doing it then and they doing it now. They're the same people that we call today Zionists. We don't say Jews, we say Zionists. So there were some Zionists among Banu Qurayza. The Zionists, those enemies, those pigs, those kilab, those dogs, that's what they are. We don't say Jews. Muslims, get it straight. We don't have no beef with Jews. Our beef is with Zionists. Those are the kilab. Those are the poison people. Those are the treacherous people. Those are the ones who want to expand and take the whole world. They don't care white, black, Christian, nobody. They want the world for themselves, and they believe that everybody's blood is different than theirs. They are the dogs of the earth. And they was the same people at that time. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired the Prophet about their plots and their plans, and he checked them. So they're going to be put in check again soon. But don't be mixing it up like he was, you know, like the Prophet was chopping off heads and rolling in and raping women and taking babies and all that kind of stuff. No, you're talking about the Vikings. Y'all understand the Vikings, right? Yeah, you're talking about the Vikings. You're not talking about the Prophet ﷺ. So don't be believing the stuff that you be reading, because most of the paper that you're reading it should be in the bathroom. Well, again, let's go back to this issue of Banu Qurayza and see what kind of people they were. See how they was dealing with the Prophet ﷺ before he fought them. See how they was dealing with him while he fought them. See what they was doing. See what they was doing behind his back. See what plotting they were doing. You see, they was cutting between. They was giving out messages. They was working with the enemy while smiling in his face. They had a treaty with him, but they were violating the treaty. And the Prophet ﷺ was warned by Allah of what they were doing. Even their plan was to kill the Prophet ﷺ. Their plan was to kill the Muslims. Their plan was always to undermine Islam. We don't say the Jews, and this is what I want Muslims to understand. We do not curse the Jews, and we do not have hatred for Jews. No, Jews are part of the people Allah calls Ahl al-Kitab. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned among the Ahl al-Kitab, the people that are nearest to us in love is the people who call themselves Nasara. And the ones who is the most hatred towards us is the people who say that we are Yahuds. But not all the Yahuds is like that. And what we should do is we should not cover them with one blanket. When you meet a Yahudi, don't say, oh, they're the enemies of Allah. No, brothers, this is wrong. Because there are many Yahudis who will become Muslims if the behavior of Muslims are correct. But the people who call themselves Zionists, these is the pigs of the earth. These are the enemies of Allah. They are the enemies of Jibreel alayhi salam. They are the enemies of the deen and the enemies of the believers. And they were the enemies of the prophets and the murderers and plotters against the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah, He will deal with them as He dealt with them before, whether through our hands or through the hands of some other servants of His. But Jews and Zionists are different. Not all Jews are Zionists, and not all Zionists are Jews. So Muslims need to get it. Just like all Muslims are not Arabs, and all Arabs are not Muslims. And all Muslims do not support terrorism. In fact, so don't do what they do and put us under one blanket, and don't put them under one blanket. Let's be fair. So Banu Qurayza, okay, was assaulted by the Prophet ﷺ. It was sieged by the Prophet ﷺ, and they were taken hostage by the Prophet ﷺ. And because they were rebellious, the Prophet ﷺ punished them in the way Allah ordered them to be punished. And sometimes the punishing is by death, because even today they still have in America death penalty, right? Death penalty. So in the last 30 years, how many people in America died by death penalty? Thousands. Is that right? So don't be blaming the Prophet ﷺ. Y'all killed criminals and gave them the death penalty. The Prophet ﷺ, he killed some of the Banu Qurayza and gave them death penalty. So don't be hating on him when y'all did the same thing.